Beauty and Brains presents A Work in Progress, your favorite weekly podcast all about navigating adulthood and adversity with transparency and vulnerability. Here, we highlight progress over perfection. You're listening to my personal and professional development diary, where I share the highs and lows and the real and raw parts of the story that no one talks about. I'm your host, Brelynn Hunt, A Work in Progress. Dear friend, I hope all is well with you and that you are as healthy in body as you are sound in mind and strong in spirit. Welcome back to another episode of A Work in Progress. It is a lovely Sunday, sunny Sunday. It is a rainy Sunday evening, and today we're going to chill and talk about my recent pageant experience. The title of this episode is How Pageants Breed Personal Development, because I think a lot of people don't fully understand what pageants can do for young girls, and a lot of people don't understand why I do pageants, and I cannot wait until I can fully really tell you guys my pageant story, not from this previous year, but how this all started and came about. It has to wait because we're not at a good point in my pageant career to tell the story. But boy, when I can tell that story, I cannot wait. I'm going to scream it from the mountaintops because it's giving very Michael Jordan didn't make his middle school team type story. Y'all won't believe the life I've lived. Anyway, that's not about that. Today, we're talking about pageantry. I mentioned previously about how I did vlog, so I am going to include that footage in the video podcast. So if you guys are listening to the podcast, for once, I actually recommend you also watch it. You could do both, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you listen to the whole thing? So if it seems like it's a shorter episode, if you're just listening to it, then the longer version that includes the vlog footage will be included in this. This video was pretty late. My pageant was 2 months ago. Wow, it was a long time ago. I kind of want to talk about it right away, but the thing is that I wanted to have a guest on for this podcast, and I'm ready to start having guests on. I'm just very inconsistent, low-key. In order to have a guest on, I have to actually sit down and film on a certain day. Oh, I didn't even mention, y'all, again, if you're watching on the video podcast, I got my hair done. Got my hair done yesterday. We have not had color in years, which is so crazy. I just wanted something fun to end the summer off. Low-key wish I would have I have braids in, for those of you guys who are listening. Have some knotless braids in, but they're a blend of a 27, 613, whatever, a honey blonde color. And this is giving it's old Brelynn because it's blonde, but it's still very much so new Brelynn. But this is your first time seeing it, so yeah. Crazy. Or maybe you guys saw it in the content video on Tuesday. That's if I film that after today, because y'all, I'm so tired. But I think I'm going to film 2 podcast episodes today, and I'll talk to you guys more kind of a life update in that video. And in this one, we'll kind of stick it to what it needs to be, because the episode in itself is going to be long. I don't feel like I have that much to talk about necessarily, but the vlog footage itself will probably be pretty long, and I actually haven't looked at it and I haven't edited it, so this should be a fun video for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you watch it. So with that being said, there is no brain freeze. There is no audience question, just because. Let's get into some pageantry, shall we? I think that where do I even want to start? Okay, so I will start off by kind of explaining how the Miss Maryland competition went this year. And this is not going to be my whole pageant, like I said, life experience. That's going to be for a later podcast when I've made it. I'm still very much so in the beginning stages of my pageantry. I've had a little bit of success. This year I would say was my most successful pageant year, technically, which is great to know. I'm improving, but I was a late bloomer. So I started off pageantry in when I was 21 years old, when I was a senior in college. The first pageant that I did was Miss Black, Georgia, USA, and then afterwards, that experience was an experience. I mainly just thought that it was unorganized, and I was like, let me really do my research on what pageant systems are out there and which ones I feel like best align with me. So I ended up choosing the Miss America organization, and I've talked about this before, but it was really just a matter of like the big two, Miss USA or Miss America, because there are two main reasons why, I guess three, well, two main reasons why I personally was interested in pageantry. Okay, no, there are three. One was what brought my attention to pageantry, which was like HBCU pageants. Like that's how I got involved in pageantry. That's how I learned about it. That's where I saw it for the first time, and I actually had the opportunity to like see it and do it because I went to an HBCU. But then I was kind of just like, I don't want like the foo-foo want the title because like that's the popular thing to do. Like when I see pageant girls, when I see queens, when I see these title holders, I see them as like community servants, and I just genuinely have a servant's heart, and I love the idea of like being able to like be in your community and make change and like have a voice, and for people to like lean on you and for you to speak and for you to just serve. It's just something where it's kind of just like everybody's not going to get it. People are going to look at pageant girls and be like, that's stupid and that's dumb. But then you have some people who you look and you're just like, yes. And the first time I saw somebody who was like a pageant queen outside of like toddlers and tiaras, I was just like, yes, like that's what I need to do. So it wasn't until I graduated college where I finally did my research for myself on how I could actually get involved in pageantry, specifically the Miss America organization, because that's what I wanted to get involved in. And I'm so sad that I didn't start earlier. And I think a lot of people want to start and they don't know how either. They think that it's really expensive, which it can be depending on which system you join. And again, that's one reason why I wanted to be part of it. I didn't mention the second reason why. I'm out of breath. Okay, let me slow down, calm down. I'm just like, I think because I'm not like reading, I'm not talking as slow, and I need to do better at talking slower. You guys are probably like, I'm talking so fast, and that can't be relaxing to listen to. And I've talked about this before, but I think this is my podcast. You guys are here to listen to me. I have a bad habit of speaking fast because I think that people are going to cut me off and I won't be able to get out what I'm trying to say. But there's nobody here. I'm in a room alone talking to a camera. So nobody's going to cut me off. But I have that bad habit of talking so fast because I think that somebody's going to cut me off before I can finish what I need to say, and that's basically it. So I've noticed that it's such a bad habit. I talk so fast sometimes, and you can tell it's like I want to be able to get out everything before somebody can stop me. But nobody's stopping me here. So I'm just going to take my time and breathe and speak. But so the first thing, like I said, was I genuinely admired what I considered a title holder's role to be in the community. And that's why, one of the reasons why I really wanted to do it. The other reason why is also very interesting because I think that it's not talked about enough. Like I think a lot of people don't really admit to doing this or getting involved in pageants for this reason. And I'm going to talk about it now because I think that it's going to answer a question later on that we're going to talk about. But again, when my mom was like talking about my podcast and stuff, and she was on my thing, or like even my pastor was kind of just like, everybody around me is like, Brelynn, you need to get into entertainment. Like you are meant to like be on screen. And I'm like, that is so sweet, you guys. And in an alternate world, I kind of just have like this fantasy that like I'm going to get scouted to model, or like, you know, somebody's going to see me in my story and think like you deserve to be on television. And the reality is that I genuinely want to be a doctor. And like I said, I'm very content with what I believe. And I even talked to her about this, where it's like, I have an idea of how I'm going to combine media and medicine. And I believe that that's a big part of my purpose and what my career is going to be. What exactly it is kind of unknown, because I believe that my future career is like going to be one that's so unique that nobody has ever really had it before, or it's going to be something that like very few people have had. It's not something where I can say, I want to grow up to be a blah, blah, blah. It's going to be like, this job was specifically made for you. That's how I personally feel, because I believe that it's very easy for people to see me like on screen, on camera, on stage, and be like, you're so in your element. This is so you. And I agree. I think that like, you know, I do thrive in these spaces, but I'm like, y'all don't see me when I be talking to patients. I promise y'all, I be killing it. Like the way that I can connect with people, like think about it, how I connect with you all here. And this is just virtual. I thrive with one-on-one interactions, especially with women, especially when I feel like I have something that I can help them with, like something that I can offer to them. And so it's like, it's very hard because people don't see how I would be a great doctor as well, because you guys don't see me in the exam room. But just understand that I'm just as good as that as I am at this. It's just like I'm not at that point yet where I'm like doing patient care. I'm currently at the MCAT studying part, and that part I'm not good at. So for some people, it's kind of like, why in the world would you do that over this when you're clearly good at this? But I do believe that I'm good at both, and one day those two will merge. But like I said, similar to how I'm setting myself up with my podcast and my social media sites and my YouTube channel to build credibility and notoriety. We talked about this in episode 3, where I talked about my social media sabbatical. Pageantry can really be a great launching point for normal, regular people to join the entertainment industry. It puts them it gives them a bigger light where they can have more opportunities. And the reason why I chose the Miss America system was because, one, I'm beauty and brains, and before they got rid of the swimsuit competition, I genuinely felt like I was the perfect representation of beauty and brains, because with them having the scholarship portion, they attracted all of these girls who were doctors and lawyers and just huge professional educated women. And then, of course, they were doing this beauty pageant. And at the time, they considered themselves to be a beauty pageant. And so it was like a perfect match. I was like, this is exactly what I need to do. One, I got loans, so I can definitely utilize the scholarships. And there was also a Black Miss America, my favorite Miss America, Debbie Turner, who went and became Miss America her last year of her veterinary school, of her veterinary medicine degree. And so she ended up becoming a media health correspondent, but like as a vet at the same time, and her career is catapulted, and she's still doing it today because of the Miss America system, because of the Miss America organization. So I saw that, and again, there are not many people who do that, and it's kind of like, how do you do that? And when you don't have mentors, or when you're trying to do something that's very different, it's kind of like, oh, so that's how I can do that. If I do pageantry, I can be on TV and do interviews. And if I have this medicine behind me, then I can get this dream career that I want. So those are my two goals with pageantry. Everybody's goals are different. Some people join because they want to build their confidence. Some people join because they want to meet friends. Some people join because they want to earn scholarship money, and all those things are fair and valid. But those are my two big reasons. It's because I genuinely love what title holders get to do, how they get to be involved in the community and impact lives. I think, again, one of my big reasons for being on this earth are to impact, and I feel like it just gives me a voice to be out in the community and to change lives, which is a big part of what I want to do. And then when I think future career wise, it seems to be one of the only ways a regular girl like me, who's just working and going to school, can bridge that gap between where I am now and where I see myself in the future. Again, trying to merge the media and medicine in some type of entertainment role. So with that being said, like I said, I joined when I was a senior in high school, after I competed in Miss Georgia USA, and then Miss Black Georgia USA, and then I did my research and I found the Miss America, who was so crazy. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but just like how whenever I got my acceptance letters to different post-bacs and master's programs, I looked up their like Miss America system. I looked up, like, you guys know I got into, for example, Meharry. Meharry is in Nashville, Tennessee. And at the time, they never had a Black Miss Tennessee America. So I remember I was like, I don't know, because wherever I go, I'm about to do the pageant system there. I'm going to do the Miss America system at that place. I wanted to know when their locals were, like, what kind of events do they do? Has that state title holder ever won Miss America? Things like that. It got to the point where when I moved to North Carolina, that I don't know if I told you guys this. I think I did maybe in the vlogs, but I did like maybe 3. I tried to do maybe 4 pageants all together in the Miss North Carolina pageant system for Miss America. But like the first one that I did, I wasn't eligible because I wasn't there for long enough. The second one that I did, something I think was wrong with the paperwork, and then I competed in 2 and I didn't place in either one of them. And let me say, for me to like be new at pageantry and to go about this alone, like with no help, no guidance, no coaching, no anything, just somebody where it was like, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I feel like I got a good head on my shoulders, and I look good in a dress and I can walk and I have a purpose behind my platform. I think that I would, do well, but like I was so far off from being like a good title holder. Like I would have learned along the way. And I think the Miss North, I say all that to say that North Carolina is a pageant state, baby. They are intense. It's competitive, and I think if I like went back now, I would maybe do better. But like for them to be my first pageants, and like swimsuit was still around, so yikes. But again, if you guys have seen my previous pageant vlogs, I don't know why I just drew a blank there. If you guys have seen my previous pageant vlogs, then you all know that I did a couple there, and then I ended up traveling to Maryland while still in grad school in North Carolina. I said I was going to give my whole background story, but yet I still did. But whatever. I guess for people who just didn't know, maybe this is more entertaining. I don't know. But I competed in Maryland, and then I won the first one there. So Maryland is not as competitive as a pageant state as North Carolina is, and Maryland is very interesting. But when I really thought about it, I'm very proud that I went to Maryland, because I was like, I don't want to wear North Carolina around my chest. If I were to actually win Miss North Carolina, I did not enjoy my experience living in North Carolina, because I was at a PWI, and North Carolina is just a very different place than Maryland. And again, with me being from PG County, Maryland, and then going to Atlanta, Georgia, and just Black areas, and then going to like the super stark white place that wasn't very inclusive or diverse. It wasn't my favorite. It was a very good learning experience, which we can talk about later, but yeah, I didn't really enjoy that. So for me, I was like, I need to go to Maryland and compete where I belong, because I know the culture. I was born and raised in Maryland, and I would feel most proud to wear Maryland across my chest and represent Maryland at a national pageant. So I compete at Maryland, but little did I know, and I know a lot of my pageant sisters from the Maryland organization, like they watch my stuff, so I know they're going to watch this. And let me just say, I love you all. I love you all dearly. No shade, no tea, okay? This is just my experience, my podcast. I'm gonna say what I wanted to say. I didn't expect for the Maryland organization to lack the diversity that it does. For example, and I've said this before, there hasn't been a Black Miss Maryland in 17 years. Now, there was a time where it was diverse, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like stopped. And so now, even like the location of it, where it's had in like Hagerstown, Western Maryland, and Washington County, which is the title that I hold, it's very much so like this isn't a true representation of what Maryland is like. Like when I won my title, the first time I went, it was the Southern Maryland organization. So many brain farts today. It was a Southern Maryland organization. They gave away 4 titles: Miss Southern Maryland, Miss National Harbor, Miss Potomac, and Miss Free State. And I won one of those titles, and that's a whole nother story. But if you guys again watch the vlog, you kind of know like how that went. But that was the only pageant that was held below the like DC line. I consider myself to be an inner city raised person, somebody who understands culture, somebody who is both invested in like again DC and Virginia and also Maryland type thing. Whereas where the Miss Maryland organization hub is in Western Maryland, it's a completely different culture up there, which is very similar to like West Virginia and like Pennsylvania even. And it's like, it was just shocking to me, because that wasn't my experience in Maryland. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless, but it was definitely like a shock for me. So I competed for my first year. I won Miss National Harbor, and I won that in March. And then in June, I competed for Miss Maryland, and I was very much so open to just like receiving feedback, because like I said, I understood by that point that like I'm very new into pageantry, and some people really do this, and I have a lot of potential, but I need the right tweaking and coaching to become a Miss Maryland, or to become a state title holder. And so what's crazy is that I won what I would consider, I don't know if anybody else says this, but I say this, it was like the black local. It was the black directors who were the only black directors, and there were two black local title holders underneath her, and we were probably like what, two out of the five that were there. So, and one of them ended up dropping out. So going into Miss Maryland my first year, I tried to ask as many questions as I could, but like I said, I mainly just like tried to learn as I was going and taking advice from the people who were a part of like my team. So I had like a director and people who were helping me with like my resume and my headshot and, you know, my dress, my statement, like everything. Like I had a team who was helping me. They didn't necessarily help me coaching wise. Oh, but my director did actually choreograph my talent dance. So that was all a part of like the Southern Maryland team. And I was very comfortable with them because they were like black girls and they were also from like PG County and like Charles County and like the southern part. So I connected with them a lot. But I think, and I'm very glad they were my first local because like I said, I felt comfortable and I learned a lot. But there were two things that I felt like were missing from that experience that ended up having the results that happened. So the first thing is that because Miss Maryland isn't as diverse and inclusive as the state itself is, it's very hard to understand specifically like the board's perspective, like as black women, because there are no black women on the board. There is a black man, but there's no black women. So we think, and we just because our life experience is different, we think differently than the board will. And so just like how I think, they think. And so it didn't really help because we're kind of just like in our own mind about what we think they would think is good and nice and great. But at the end of the day, we're all kind of like guessing because we don't know, because we don't have the same life experiences as the leaders of this organization who make the ultimate decision. So that's the first thing. And then again, the second thing was more so me being so willing to receive advice from other people that I didn't put down my foot. And because at this point, I'm 21 years old, I know myself. I may not know pageantry. I may not know the Miss Maryland organization. I may not even know Miss America, but I at least know myself. And I didn't straddle the line of knowing, or I didn't do enough work in putting in who is Brelynn in the Miss Maryland / Miss America system. I more so allowed people to tell me what that looked like, which is so unlike me. But like even for example, I'll say with my talent dance last year, I did a jazz piece and I was going to do it on point, but I never practiced it on point because I just had been so like out of dance for so long, or at least out of ballet for so long that I kind of felt weird doing it. But mind you, my mom told me she's a very big proponent of me doing point. She's like, you're a black girl, you need to do point. Basically, like, this is what people consider to be good dancing. Like, it's very easy to look at a point dancer and say that you are trained and this is talent. But if you are going around there shaking and jiving and doing jazz, like, sometimes it doesn't come off as talent. It just may be entertaining. And it was a really hard balance for me because I'm like, I haven't done ballet in years. But she gave me that advice before I went to Maryland to compete for my local. So I competed in my Maryland local doing a ballet piece and I won. So, you know, in her mind, she's like, duh, because you did what I said to do. And so I'm like, okay. But then they gave me advice and they were like, I feel like you can do point, but you need to do something that's a little bit more entertaining because that was kind of boring. So I took their advice because again, I'm kind of like, Mom, what do you know? You've never done a pageant. And I do this jazz piece, but then I don't end up doing it on point because like I said, I didn't practice enough doing it on point. And even like the vibe of the dance was so not me. I didn't choose the song. Like it was suggested to me and I was kind of like, but I didn't really put down my foot and be like, I don't like this song for me. And then even when like the choreo was done, I was like, this doesn't really show my strengths as a dancer. It doesn't really, I can't really get into the character that I'm supposed to play for this. Like I was kind of just like, but I did it. So I did all of that. My wardrobe was bomb all week because on that I was in charge of, except for my evening gown, because they told me like, you cannot wear a pink evening gown. And it wasn't like a you cannot thing, but it was kind of just like, listen, We know you love pink. We know it's part of the brand. We know it's your favorite color. We know that you like it and you look good in it, but you're probably going to wear pink for this, and this. Can we do another color for the evening gown? Maybe an orange or blue or a yellow, because like you look good in bright colors. And I'm like, okay, fine. There was no orange there. There were a couple of yellow dresses. And I was kind of between like this yellow dress and then this blue dress. And again, trying to think like, what does a Miss America, what does a Miss Maryland look like? The yellow dress was giving me very like USA, just because it showed more cleavage and it was like really, really sparkly, and it just seemed a little bit more. And again, if you're into pageant systems, you kind of know like Miss America is a little bit more subdued. I would say like classic. What is the word I'm looking for? Not old school. That sounds mean. Not mature. What is the word I'm looking for? These are synonyms, like kind of, you're getting the gist of it. Conservative. Miss America is very much more conservative than Miss USA is. And so the dress that I ended up choosing was blue, and I like the design of the dress. Like if the dress was in pink, I like it. I love like the shoulders, off the shoulders that it was, and it had like a sash that was bedazzled, so it was like glittery but not like too much, and it was very form-fitting. And like I said, I learned so much from that team as far as just like getting things tailored and like getting nude shoes for my skin color and like how to like get pageant jewelry and stuff. And even like at that time my hair was blonde, and they were kind of just like, but what kind of blonde are we gonna do? Like, can we do one that's a little bit more subdued and like an ombre and stuff? So I really enjoyed my team, but I remember just thinking afterwards kind of like some stuff that didn't really make sense for Brelynn. So I competed, didn't win anything. I got what is basically a participation award. I did not make top 10. And if you don't make top 10, you don't compete during finals night. And so my family came and they saw 10 other girls compete for Miss Maryland that day. And I was so embarrassed, and I was so kind of like, wow, because I had people, you guys were rooting for me online. And I was just like, I thought I did okay. Like, I thought I would have done better. Like, my goal was at least just make top 10. I thought that would have been a good jumping point. And I think also my problem was I went in like, I have a few years with the Miss America system. It's my first year. Most people don't win their first year. So I'm not going to come in like, I'm that girl, I'm about to win. It took me 3 chances just to make it to states. So I just want to learn. I just want to do my best, learn about the girls, learn about the system, meet new friends, like, and just perform well enough to make top 10 so I can perform during the finals night. Like, that was my goal. And I didn't even do that. Like, I didn't even make one of the finalists or the semi-finalists. Like I said, I competed in everything. The way that Miss Maryland works is that it's a 3-night preliminaries. So you do 3 nights. One day you do your onstage question and answer. And also when I competed for my locals, not that important, but when I competed for my locals, swimsuit was a thing. And by the time it was time for states, swimsuit was out. So that was the first time that we were doing the whole social impact initiative pitch, which I genuinely love. I love the pitch because I love to speak about things that I'm passionate about. And I think that it shows like my heart, because when I'm really passionate about something, like, you can really tell. And even my social impact initiative, I think it wasn't refined enough there. Like, I had the gist of what I wanted to say, and I think that my impact was good, but I don't think that I spoke about it enough in my interview. Like, my interview wasn't bad, but I think knowing now what a winning interview was like, that wasn't a winning interview, because I was very much so like, I wasn't intentional about what I was trying to brand myself as to the judges. And when you have so many different girls and it's your job during that interview to show them like why you are the one, you like, sometimes you can come in the interview being a receiver. Like, I'm just going to respond to whatever they tell me. But what I learned, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but in the future, it's more so like, what do I want them to know about me in the interview? And some people, that's going to be like a duh, like that's what you go into interviews for. But for me, like I said, it was more so just like, don't say anything wrong. Like, if they ask you about political questions, or if they ask you about, this like controversy things, or even if they ask you about like your platform, like, what are you going to say? How are you going to respond? Instead of thinking like, no matter what you ask me, what am I going to say? But anyway, like I said, so I ended up being a non-finalist and I was so heartbroken afterwards. But the difference is that when I did Miss Black Georgia USA and I was third runner up, I immediately was like, I ain't doing this pageant again. Like, I ain't coming back here. It was nice knowing y'all, but not for me. When I was done Miss Maryland, I was like, I'm coming back and I'm going to do much better because now I understand. Like, I thought I was going to do better than this, and this isn't a real representation, so I got to come and I got to redeem myself. So I tried to do everything as respectfully as I could. So I gave up my title as Miss National Harbor, which ended up turning into Miss Prince George's County, which is really unfortunate because I knew that I was going to continue in the Miss America, specifically the Miss Maryland organization, until the next year. And so I wanted to like continue to do service because I'm genuinely interested in service, like as a title holder. Like, part of it is, again, competing and being able to possibly go to Miss America and be Miss Maryland, and that's all great. But like, when you're a title holder, that's another thing that I really loved about the Miss America organization, is that you didn't have to be the big queen in order to like make change and do work. Like, I think, inspired and mentor, and I did a lot of stuff as Miss National Harbor. But literally like 2 weeks after Miss Maryland, the National Harbor, because I was so like out in the community posting on social media and I had like the hashtag Miss National Harbor, the National Harbor like sent a cease and desist. And again, I vlogged this whole thing when it was happening because at the time I was doing vlogathon. They sent a cease and desist for me to like stop posting as Miss National Harbor. And so they took away my title as Miss National Harbor and they gave me Miss Prince George's County. Now at this time, I was very happy because obviously I'm from PG and like Prince George's County sounds better than National Harbor anyway. So I was like, great, give me a sash so I can get out there and get to work. But my local organization, I just think that they were more interested in like preparing girls for the state pageant than they were like in keeping them involved in the community post pageant. So after I finished Miss Maryland, they kind of like went ghost and they were worried about like preparing for like their next pageant the next year. And I was like, hey guys, like I would like to like have a sash as Miss National Harbor so I can like go, because they told me I can't wear my National Harbor sash anymore. So I was like, can I get a sash like for Miss PG? That way I can like do community work. And at this point I went back to school in North Carolina, and from July to I think it was November, like I didn't have a sash, so I really wasn't able to do anything. And then I finally got my Miss PG sash, and then I had to give up my title in January. So at this point, what's so amazing, let's put this first and foremost out there, is that I was so intentional about putting God in the center of my pageant experience. And I will say that, like I said, even though I wasn't necessarily doing a lot of community work because I was honestly just focused on my grad school life, and I wasn't even in the state of Maryland, I was still like doing pageant work. Like I was doing research. I was actually watching pageants. Like I hadn't even watched a full like Miss America. I think I maybe had watched like the recent years, but like previous years, I really hadn't done my research, or even like previous Miss Marylands, I hadn't really watched and done my research. And so I was doing my research and again, kind of forming more of who Brelynn as Miss Maryland would look like, what she sounds like, what she moves like, what she acts like, how she speaks in the interview and things like that. So January comes, I give up my title, and during this time I'm praying and I'm doing affirmations about which next title I would possibly go for in the Miss Maryland system. And I talked about this, but I was praying and fasting during that time, and I was, asking God, like, guide my steps, like what's the right organization, because I knew that it needed to be the right one in order for me to be the most successful the next year. And I'm going so into detail right now and I don't really know why. So I'll make this next part short because there are vlogs on this and that's not really what today's episode is about. So I ended up receiving a lot of just different signs to do the Miss Washington County pageant. And it's complete opposite from the Miss Southern Maryland / PG County pageant. This is the oldest running local pageant in Maryland for the Miss America system. It was the first one, it's the oldest running one, and it is, like I said, in that Western Maryland area. When you drive by in Washington County, you see Confederate flags. It's very different. It's no longer, we're not in Kansas anymore. And so I remember competing for that title, but being so ready because I had been doing the work since June. Like when I got off that stage, like I said, I knew that I was coming back and I started doing the work then. And I, long story short, against all odds, I did what I needed to do and I became Miss Washington County. And I'm only the third, mind you, it's the longest running one. I'm only the third Black Miss Washington County. And so I was just one of the best days ever. It was so great because you guys saw me in the vlog. I was so at peace. Like when I competed for Miss Maryland, I was so nervous. I was so anxious the whole time. And when I competed for Miss Black Georgia, I was so, same thing, nervous, and things went, like so many things kept going wrong that I was like, I don't even know if I really want to do this because it's not fun. Like to be anxious all day, to put yourself like in this position to possibly lose absolutely sucks. But Miss Washington County was so much fun. I received great scholarship money. The team was nice. The production ran smoothly. The girls were nice. And I actually won. So it was like, this is great. I'm on a roll. And I was like, I'm not necessarily ready for Miss Maryland, but like I'm on a good path for Miss Maryland. And when I tell you God, because that pageant was February 22nd of 2020, and there was maybe one or two pageants after that, like 2 weekends, and then the pandemic happened, and then there were no more local titles. So fast forward through all of this, they ended up appointing some titles, and then every month we're doing like monthly meetups at our Miss Maryland class. It was really different than the previous years because for months we were talking, getting to know each other, and I really enjoyed it. It's crazy because I started off when I got crowned expecting to compete in a few months in June as a graduate student. And obviously, like I said, the pandemic happened. And then by like May, June, they pushed it back to August. And then they ended up just canceling it and then saying that it was going to be the next year in June. So I went from being a graduate student to being a graduate to being an MA and then moving back to Maryland. And then like it was a long time. And I went through so many different phases of life, like within this time of like holding this title and preparing for Miss Maryland. And I think that's what kind of goes into this year where it's like I said, the moment I walked off the stage in 2019, I was putting in work to be Miss Maryland 2020. Now, because there was no Miss Maryland 2020 and it was pushed back to 2021, I lost a year of eligibility. So you can't be older than 25 to compete in Miss Maryland. And so I would have had 2 years, 2020 and 2021, before turning 25, which you guys know I just turned July 24th this year. But because of this, I missed a year. So this was my last year now, which put a different pressure and intensity on it, because instead of it being like, oh, like I can try again if it doesn't work well, it all of a sudden became, I have to go from being a non-finalist, receiving a participation award, to being the top scorer and winning Miss Maryland, because I have no other choice. It's either all or nothing. I have one more shot until I'm aged out and I'm no longer qualified. So, like I said, I was putting in the work in the beginning, and then being an MA came around, and that being a medical assistant, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm a GYN medical assistant, and you guys know that job stresses me out. It takes all of my energy and all of my time. And so that was a big, like, oh my gosh, like it was very hard for me to do many things along with that. Like I wasn't really preparing my stuff. Like I wish during that time I would have like gotten a headshot and like maybe started going back to classes, like ballet classes and stuff. And I had it in my plan, but then the MCAT happened. And the moral of the story is that I believe that the MCAT ruined my chances of being Miss Maryland. I'm gonna blame the MCAT. I'm gonna blame the MCAT for everything. No, but honestly, low key, because what happened was the MCAT happened and I got off of my game. Like the MCAT, you guys know, it was God and MCAT. There was nothing else. I was focused on nothing else. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing social media. I wasn't doing events. Like actually, I did do a few events for Miss Washington County, but not as many as I would have done if I didn't have to commit myself to my MCAT. So And you guys know it took me 9 months to study for the MCAT. So we have like from September to December, I was somewhat present. But then from like January to May, I was very much so like, only if you need me, call me. And this goes back to God. Like, thank you so much for giving me Miss Washington County as my team for this year, because they were the best supportive team. Like Lydia, my Miss Western Maryland, who was my sister queen, we were both crowned the night of the Miss Washington County Western Maryland pageant. And I'm so glad that I was with her the whole time through this, because she also is pre-med. I literally call her my twin, because she also like has a biology degree. She also has a master's of physiology, and she was applying to medical school that cycle. So I was able to really like vent to her and talk to her as I was going through things, and she genuinely understood, which is like, it was very helpful for me, because you guys know I don't have a lot of people in my circle, in my community, who I can talk to about it. And that's why stuff like this, like my podcast, I always want this to be a community where we can lean and talk to each other, because I understand how hard it is to have nobody who you can talk to about what you're going through. So she was literally godsend. And then my director, Jen, I love her so much. She was so nice. Like, I didn't tell them that I moved my test date, because you guys know I moved it like 4 times. And they both sent me like care packages and like sent me the nicest messages. And I was like, you guys are so nice and thoughtful. I just thought that was so thoughtful. It was so, so nice. So I love that they were my team throughout the process. But at the end of the day, I was focused on that MCAT, which was a huge part of my future. And it made me neglect like my pageant prep. And it wasn't until like we had our orientation on May 1st, and by that point, like we had deadlines that were coming. And you guys saw like even in my MCAT video, where it was like when I was preparing to leave for my test and then also like go on a trip, I was also like sending off stuff for Miss Maryland. So things were so like thrown together, where it was like, how did the pageant was 2 years postponed, or like a year and a half, but then it came around and I wasn't ready. And I was like, how are you not ready? Like, but all that time that I was spending studying, I could have been like doing interview prep, and I could have been doing like picking my dress and doing my headshot. But then I was kind of like, crap, the pageant is in a month and a half, and I'm still in MCAT mode. And so I had this moment where I was very stressed out, because mind y'all, my boss called me while I was on my post MCAT trip to be like, I need you to come back to work to scribe for me. So I had too much going on, like trying to prep for a pageant. And it's not just like when I say prep for a pageant, let me talk about this, because I'm sure I'm talking to many people who are not like into pageants. What does that mean? So first you have all of the administrative things. So you have to have a specific resume, and like a pageant resume is obviously different than your work resume. You have to write an essay talking about like your social impact pitch. You have to have a headshot. So that's like the administrative side of things. And then for me, because I'm extra, I talked to you guys about how I did that paperwork earlier on, and I had like my podcast and my website and my new Instagram handle and stuff on there. So that also meant that I literally had to do a rebrand before Miss Maryland as well. Never would recommend that. That was so, I should have, but there was nothing that I could do. Like I put on my paperwork before, because I thought that I would have had more time, but then I pushed back my exam and I didn't have time. But yeah, tragic. So you have that stuff. Then you have like the physical things, like actually getting your hair done. Like, what is your hair going to look like? Your nails, obviously your makeup. Like if you have to learn how to do makeup, that would have been a lot too, but, or like maybe getting lashes or whatever, or extensions, things like that. A tan for like other girls, not me, but other girls. Having a dress, like what is your wardrobe gonna look like my talent costume. You guys saw me like pancaking my point shoes. Oh, my whole talent, like that is a huge part for the Miss America organization. Talent is 35% of the score. You will not do well if you do not have a good talent, which is why a lot of people don't want to do that. But this is not for those of you guys who want to get into pageantry. It's one of the only pageants actually that still has like talents. So there's many other pageants that you can do that like you don't have to have a talent. And it's like, I am talented, but one of my biggest things where I feel like I didn't do well the previous year was I felt like, again, I didn't perform well in my talent. It wasn't good enough in comparison to the other girls who were cello players, violin players, opera singers. It's kind of like, and here I am doing a jazz dance. Like, no. So I was like, I need to go back to the basics. I need to do what is true to me, which is ballet. I had a vision in mind. I'm talking fast again. When I got back from my post MCAT trip in Tulum and I was still in Atlanta for a couple of days, I literally like begged my mahogany sister, like, please meet up with me and choreograph this dance because she's one of the best choreographers that I know. And I was like, I need you to choreograph this dance for me for Miss America, for Miss Maryland. And she did it for me. And then literally I went back home and I'm practicing that. So you have like your talent, your evening gown, again, what you're going to wear, what you're going to say, because you have a social impact pitch, and then mock interviews. So like there's times where you need to kind of have a panel of people who can mock interview you, just like how you would probably mock interview for a job or maybe for medical school or things like that. But like pageant interviews are very different because they range. Obviously, it's all about you, but it can be very political or it can be very personal, and it really just depends. I've been in interviews for both. So, y'all, I really thought this episode was going to be short, and this is probably going to be the longest one with this vlog footage because I'm really going in. But that's setting the scene where you can see, like, in the month of June, I was so stressed. And now saying it out loud, I'm like, how the heck did I do that? But I literally was working. I was now also like trying to do events. Like I was coming back to social media. And I also I was branding myself to be somebody who was a social person, like good at social media, good at marketing, but I was gone off of social media for 6 months. So I was literally like posting through 4 or 5 times a week, trying so that way in case the judges came to my page, they would be able to see like what I've been up to, what I do. Like you can get a snapshot of like this visual that I'm trying to give you guys. So I was so busy, and I had like just started TikTok. So I'm doing TikToks, I'm doing reels, I'm doing posting. I'm not back on, that's why I wasn't back on YouTube. I was like, y'all need a second. Okay. But like, I was like, I'm going to try and do the podcast. I had that stuff out. I literally had a whole brand photo shoot that happened during that time. I'm getting a dress. I'm fixing my talent. All of this is happening. Let me explain kind of how this year went, because this year was a hybrid year because of COVID. So, and I'm pretty sure Maryland were the only people who had like a hybrid pageant, which, I mean, now that the cases are going back up, like maybe it was smart, but at that time, especially in June, like there are people who had their pageant in March full-fledged, which would have made things easier because it just caused a lot more stress. And I talked about it in full-fledged on social media at the time, but in case you guys are like just coming to this or whatever, the way that the Miss Maryland hybrid pageant worked was that the interview was private and it was held on a Tuesday. And then Thursday, it was a preliminary pageant, one night preliminary pageant live on Zoom. So each person had to produce their own pageant setup and do it on Zoom live. So it wasn't like pre-recorded. It was like we had to actually be there and go in and out of break rooms and perform in front of the judges virtually. And of course, you guys know I literally did the most. I literally like set up a way for me to do Zoom through my DSLR, and I rented out a church and had like bought lights, and like it was a lot. And that day, I don't think I told you guys. I'll tell you about how that day went. So, okay. Well, you guys will see in the vlog. I'll let you guys. Okay. I won't go into too much detail because you guys can tell I'm so excited. I keep tripping over my words, but I won't go into too much detail because you guys will see it in the vlog. But yeah, it took me so long on Thursday because I got my hair done in the morning time. And you guys know, if you are natural and you get flexi rods, you have to sit underneath the dryer for 2 hours. And my salon is in DC, which is about 45 minutes away with like heavy traffic. And so yeah, I ended up being late and it was a mess. But again, you'll see in the vlog. So first, let me talk about my interview. Not my favorite. Like I had really been preparing. I did a few mock interviews like with my board and stuff. And I had been putting in the work, not as much as I wish I could have. Like I would have been doing it for maybe like 3 months. Instead, I did it for like 1 month, where I did maybe like 5 mock interviews, where I should have been doing way more, especially again, I prepped for a year and a half. But yeah, I literally just did like 5 mock interviews, and I felt good about them overall. Even though I wasn't like sitting down with people and mock interviewing, I'm very much so like a talks to themselves, like when you're driving or in the shower. So I do mock interviews with myself all the time, and it may sound so stupid, but I swear it really, really helps, because I know the answer to almost anything that anybody could possibly ask me. Like, I would think about anything between like why I wear what I wear, why I say what I say, why I did what I did, why is my song called the way that it's, why am I dancing to this? Like, everything has a reason and a purpose that I thought of. And if you ask me anything, like, I kind of know how I want to answer it and how that fits in with my core values as a title holder, which I created. I literally created like my own brand pillar. Like, I was very much so like ready, but also, like I said, I was very much so rushed. I was ready and rushed, because I was ready, but then I was not as ready the months leading up to it, and then I felt rushed. So anyway, that interview was not, again, not my worst interview that I've ever had, because I've had horrible, traumatizing interviews. But that one was just, it was very political. It was very, 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 very political. Every single question was very, very political. And I actually recorded it. So I will include some clips later on in the vlog for you guys to see. But yeah, so interview happened. I was kind of like, I don't really know. Like, I did okay. Like, I didn't fumble the ball, but I didn't really get to like talk about me. And that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm great. And how are they gonna know that I'm gonna be a great Miss Maryland if you're asking me about like abortion and stuff? Like, so that went, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just try and do my best. Thursday for the preliminary pageant. And again, you guys will see in the vlog, the preliminary pageant was a hot mess. I mean, it was just kind of like, there's no way I'm gonna make top 10. And again, going back to the rules for the hybrid pageant. And then Thursday was the preliminary pageant live on Zoom. And then afterwards, they gave awards away. And I'm like, I just think it's very well known. Like, if you win preliminaries, like, they have basically preliminary awards. So after everybody competes, and there were like 2 groups, basically like the morning group and the evening group. And then after the morning group, they gave the awards. And then for the evening group, they gave the awards. And I didn't win any awards. So I was like, this is it. I'm out. Like, I didn't even win evening gown. And I was like, who could walk better than me? Humbly. But no, I was definitely like, okay, this is not a good look. So then that evening, I go home, and I remember my mom, she was so like, oh my gosh, this girl is gonna drive me crazy, because like, she kind of had to, be my wingman, help me out during this whole process. And she's so not into this stuff. Like, she just doesn't care. Like, she sees it and it's like, oh, okay, this is what you want to do. Like, I'll be there. But she just be so like, girl. So I could be a little bit moody, and because I really wanted this and I worked really hard. And so when I saw that everything basically did not go as expected on Thursday, I was like very pouty on my way home. And then I had to like set up my whole camera and stuff before they announced the top 10. And this was again virtually through Zoom. And the top 10 contestants were going to be able to compete live at the Maryland Theater on Saturday. And the Miss Maryland's Outstanding Teen Pageant was actually going to be that Friday. So I was just like, please, please, please don't let it be a repeat of last year. Like, please let me make the top 10. Like, at least let me make the top 10, because it not only would it suck to not make the top 10, but then like, in comparison to like last year, like not making it again. But this year, out of all years, because at least before, you had the whole week where you got to spend time with the girls, and it was really like, Miss Maryland week is so much fun. It's like summer camp, but like the best, because this was supposed to be talking about how pageants breed personal development, and that's just going to be a whole nother episode, because I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about my pageant experience. So we'll save that for another time, I guess. But the point is that like, it's such a fun week, because you're getting to like hear the stories of everybody, and everybody's so talented and intelligent and passionate about different things. And it's so much fun to be around people who are just on the same wavelength as you know, as an ambitious young woman. So I really enjoy getting to know the different girls and talking with them and hanging out with them and stuff like that. And usually, like I said, it's a whole week. So we stay in a hotel, we go to like different restaurants, and we do rehearsals and we eat. And so it's so much fun. But this year there was only one day. And so basically, I was like, if I don't make top 10, it ends here and I don't even get to hit the stage. Like, no. Spoiler alert. I mean, I make the top 10. So, and I mean, when I tell you, I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I was just like, wow. Cause I did not think I was going to make it. Like, I called my director beforehand and she was so like, you're going to make it. You're fine. Like, you're fine. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, the interview was meh, and my performance today was very meh, and I didn't mess up on anything, but like, it didn't flow well. So anyway, I made top 10, super excited. I literally go to work the next day on Friday, do a whole full shift, and then pack my car up to leave and drive to Hagerstown that evening. And then that was the day that y'all saw me in that blue dress that looked so good. I looked good that day. And that was for Miss Maryland Outstanding Teen Pageant. And we watched that. And then congratulations to Kate. She wins. And then I ended up getting a hotel there because obviously the next day we had to be there at like 8 a.m. And that it was very different than what we had previously experienced, because instead of it being like a week where we're rehearsing and then we have like preliminaries, you get a feel for things, it was like one day we have production in the morning time and then showtime. And it was a hard balance between, this is summer camp, we get to know all these different girls, and you've been preparing for a year and a half for this moment. Like, this is the moment that you finally can like show all that you've been working towards. And so I'll basically end it in my long spiel, because this whole episode is, oh my gosh, I'm already an hour in. Am I capable of doing a short episode? This was literally supposed to be a short episode. I'm embarrassed. Just kind of going into how I feel afterwards and my mindset with everything is, again, spoiler alert, I ended up making into top 5, and then I placed as third runner up. You guys probably know that if you follow me on anything. And I know that some of you guys say that you're interested in pageant stuff, and I love pageants, and I wish more of you guys were, but I understand it's such like a niche thing that you guys can't be interested in everything that I'm interested in. And that's why I kind of like waiting to do this podcast, because I was like, it needs to have some value behind it, and I had value to share, but now that I'm an hour in, I really can't give it. It's really just like a personal story. So especially with the vlog too, like this video is literally going to be 2 hours long, and it's just all of me talking about my experience. But hey, anyway, I will say though, leave in the comments here some questions that you have about pageants, whether it be like misconceptions or whatever. And then when I do another pageant episode, I will actually have a guest on, and we'll talk about how pageants breed personal development, because that's again what this podcast was supposed to be about. Anyway, so how I felt after it was that, like I mentioned, I had been working for so long for that day, but then when it actually came closer to it, and rewinding back, the reason why winning Miss Washington County, it was such a great day, but I felt like I personally deserved it, was because I was working hard, I put forth the work, and I did what needed to be done on the day of. Like, I feel like I was the best woman. I won't say I was the best woman on that stage, but like I was the best Brelynn that I could be at that moment in time. And I've even grown so much since then. But I walked away feeling like I deserve this, because I did what I needed to do in order to improve since the last time I was on this stage. Like, nobody worked harder than me to earn this position and to earn this title. And so I'm grateful, because at the end of the day, you know, all glory goes to God. He could have been like, yeah, but I don't want that for you. No. And there was tough competition in that pageant, and still I won. And like I said, I was so proud. And I knew in the back of my mind that I hadn't worked as hard as I possibly could for Miss Maryland. And not because, again, it's not because I didn't want to, but because I was consumed with the MCAT for half of my reign leading up to Miss Maryland. And so I had done a lot of work. And when it got to the pageant day, I was on autopilot. Like, I was so excited because y'all know I'm a girl's girl. I'm a people. Like, I haven't done something that fun like Miss Maryland in so long. I had been in jail. I had been in MCAT jail. So I need to stop saying that. But I had been in MCAT jail, so I hadn't experienced like just fun. Like I said, all those fun, great things that it comes with pageantry. I hadn't experienced that. So I was thriving. I was in the element. I was seeing these girls who I had been talking to for months, literally. Like, we had started talking for months, and like these girls, it sounds so like naive, but they become like your best friends overnight. And it's like, dang, I wasn't really ready to compete that day. I just honestly, my head wasn't in it. I was so like just excited to be there and living in a moment of gratitude that I kind of wasn't focused on what I needed to do to bring home the actual title of Miss Maryland. It was more so like giving myself grace. And that's good too, but the difference is when I won Miss Washington County, I didn't let any other thought cross my mind. I didn't care that I was going against the previous first runner-up of Miss Maryland. I was like, I'm leaving as Miss Washington County. I don't care if there has only been 2 other Miss Black Washington counties. I don't care if I'm not from here. I don't care if I don't look like, I don't sound like, I'm not from, I don't care. I am your next Miss Washington County because I worked hard and I deserve it. But I competed for Miss Maryland, and I was kind of like, there's probably people who have worked harder than me here. Like, I've worked hard, but my mind hasn't been in complete like pageant mode. And I wasn't positively speaking affirmations. I was kind of like, you know how you can sometimes giving yourself grace can be like pacifying negativity in a way. And that's why I think sometimes I have so much hard time giving myself grace, because instead of me saying like, no matter what, like, you're leaving as Miss Maryland because like you that girl, it was like I was being nice to myself. Like, you've worked so hard, you've come so far, you've made top 10, even that's better than you did last year. So like if this is it, it's okay. And even though those things are true, I think it's better for you to have those thoughts afterwards if all you get is top 10, instead of like before you even, like, when you still have the opportunity, kind of being okay with where you were. Like, I was kind of like, this is better than what I had last year. And to be honest, what's so sad, you guys want to know the truth? What's so sad is that, again, I preach about beauty and brains, right? My platform, B Squared, empowering through beauty and brains. And I say all the time, like, if you can't see it, you can't believe it. And I spoke about how there hasn't been a Miss Maryland who looks like me since the 2000s. Like, it's been a long, long time. And to come from, again, being a non-finalist to the winner, these are things that the moment of, and again, I'm thinking to myself, have I really put in enough work to beat these odds? And I say all the time, against all odds, but in reality speaking, I think that I didn't have enough confidence in myself the day of, and I was nice to myself and I allowed myself to have a good time, but I wish I would have been more focused on taking out any other possibility other than being Miss Maryland. It was like, you have what it takes, but I was like, I do, but if it doesn't work out, because at the end of the day, like, pageants are subjective, different judges, different day, you know, these are things that you hear pageant girls say, just to say there was like, any of us could have been Miss Maryland. And that's truly the case, because usually if you make it to the top 10, top 5, or like even just a local title holder, like, you're pretty amazing in yourself. And like I said, even last year, like, I could have been Miss Maryland last year, but like that wouldn't have been the best Miss Maryland. Like, clearly, like, I needed some growth and stuff. So what I'm kind of trying to say is that I realized in retrospect that although I had a great time, I was so satisfied, honestly, with making top 5, because I genuinely didn't think I was going to make it. Like, I hoped I would. I really, really hoped I would, but I didn't believe I would. And that's sad. And it's because I didn't do enough like meditating in the word before competition day. Like, I didn't take a moment to step aside from being with the girls. Like, I was chatting in the dressing room, kikiing, and like, things happen so fast. Next thing you know, you're on stage. Next thing you know, you're performing. Next thing you know, you're called top 5. I didn't have a moment. Like, we prayed multiple times before, but like, I didn't have a moment where like me, God, center, affirmations, manifesting and believing, like visualizing myself, like, this is the moment where you're about to become Miss Maryland. Like I said, I think I was very much so like giving myself grace if where I was as far as I was going to get. So it's a weird thing where it's like, why are you being so nice to yourself? Like, I always am so mean to myself. That's what everybody says. But in this one time, I feel like it worked against me because I was so nice to myself that I didn't allow myself to kind of like only focus on success. And I think that had a role in kind of my ultimate placement. And at the end of the day, like, if it wasn't for me, it wasn't going to be for me, and that's okay too. And then of all people, Lydia, my sister queen, my twin, ended up becoming Miss Maryland. So, which also plays a different part in my thought process in this all stuff too, because again, we both competed in the same local, and I was a little bit of a higher score than her that day. And so for her to score over me for Miss Maryland, it kind of messes with my mind a little bit. And it makes what I've learned from the situation is that two things can be true at the same time, because I am genuinely so happy for her. And I'm so glad that she's Miss Maryland. And I'm like, if anybody's going to win, like, I love all the girls, but like, that was my sister queen. Like I said, we went through this whole process together. Like, that is my girl. I'm very, very proud and I'm happy for her. And I cannot wait. I'm literally like, we're going to Miss America. Like, but at the same time, it's like, dang, that could have been me. Like, I didn't believe it, but I was so close. I was so close. And I had what it took. I just actually didn't believe it. Like, I believed it, but not enough. It's a really weird, like, it's really, really weird, but that's basically my pageant experience this past year, what I kind of wanted to share with you all. I will give you guys some like advice or some lessons. First of all, never give up. Like I said, I received a lot of failures with pageantry, and I'm still learning and growing, and I'm still in the beginning stages of it, and I'm getting better every time. So if I took my first no as no, I wouldn't be here today, and I've grown so much as a person. So if you want to get involved in it, don't let the first no stop you. Like, keep going, because your experiences can shape success in another season. Next up, fully and truly believe in yourself all the way through, like from beginning to end, because you don't want the thing that stops you to be you. And last, my brother used to say this all the time. He's such a jerk, but hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. I think that, and that's so, so true. I mean, I think that speaks enough for itself. So if you want it, you got to work for it. But yeah, much love to everybody in the Miss Maryland organization. Like I said, unfortunately, I have aged out. I'm so sad. Again, that's another thing that kind of plays in my mind, because like, with me being third runner-up, so close in the top 5, if I had one more year, and because this is an easy fix, like a mind thing, manifesting, like there's not much else I would change. Like, I probably would do the same talent, maybe change something different with my dress or whatever, but I don't get another chance. And that just teaches you to live each day to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I don't get another chance with that. And to answer you guys' questions, because then you're going to ask me, am I going to do another pageant? Right now, my answer is that I'm very fortunate enough that I will not be giving up my title as Miss Washington County until probably next February. So I have a long time to be Miss Washington County. which is a really big deal. I actually really like this local title because even though it's like 2 hours away from me, whenever I go up there, there's so much hometown love. They show me love. It's very much like, oh, Miss Washington County is here. Miss Washington County. It's like, like you get that experience of being like a mini celebrity, which is not why I'm doing it, but it's a fun perk. And it's like, if I only get a couple of months to live this life because half of it was in the pandemic or preparing for the pageant, then like I want to at least enjoy this part of it. And like I said, one thing that I really love about pageantry in general, why I want to do it, is for this community outreach that I'm able to do with this title. So I still want to be able to do that with my title while I can. So right now I am just focused on living my best life as Miss Washington County. And I doubt this is going to be the end of my pageant journey. I would just say that like a lot of people are suggesting that I do different things. And I guess my response to that is just, again, keeping in mind the two main reasons why I want to do pageantry. And so some pageant systems are just like out of the question because it's not going to fulfill either one of those two goals for me. So you're just going to have to stay tuned and see where I go next and what I end up doing. But that is my most recent pageant story, and the journey continues. Before we move into the vlog portion of this podcast, especially for us video watchers, of course I want to give some kingdom keys because I believe that God speaks to us in various different ways. Today's Bible verse comes from 2 Corinthians in chapter 4. Starting with verse 4, it says, Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. Later on in verse 7, it says, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. So we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever.
There's nothing in Numbers 13 where they shrink God down. They still know they have a big God. It's not that they shrink their God, they shrink themselves to the level of their situation. I'm preaching to somebody today who believes that God is big, but until you see yourself as made in the image of the infinite, unlimited, all-wise, ever-knowing God, you will stay stuck. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come from the Nephilim. And we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers. And so we seemed to them. That's a very powerful theological statement and psychological statement. Because it says that the way you see yourself is so important that it can actually create a reality that is contradictory to your true identity. And remember, God is forming them as a nation. He's making them a nation. He's making a great nation. He saw them out of Egypt. He's done great things, but now they see a giant, and so they come to a strange conclusion. Our enemies are so big, there's no way we can do it. This challenge is so insurmountable. What's in front of us is so much bigger than us. There's no way we can do it, and we can't go forward. And they didn't, and they died in the desert. My question is, why would you choose to see yourself through the eyes of your enemy? If what's in front of us that God has called us to fight is that big, I wonder what's within us that God put there to cause us to triumph. If God gave me a challenge this great, if God gave me a mountain this big, if God gave me this situation to overcome, I wonder what God knows about me that I don't know about me. My maker is my mirror. If he put it in front of me, he already knows how it's gonna fall. Back up Goliath, I got a rock and a slingshot. My maker is my mirror. You come against me with sword and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord.
I want to give a special shout out to the audio listeners because, listen, you guys, if you're not subscribed to the podcast audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, like, do that. The link is down below. I always leave the links in the description box down below of the YouTube video, and you guys can also find it on brelynnhunt.com. But I want to make sure that you guys are also listening to the pod and not just watching it. So subscribe over there because I may end up doing just some audio episodes that are a little bit shorter, just because it'll not take as long for me to set up everything. And leave me some, reviews. I had to think about what it was called. Leave me some reviews over there as well, especially on Apple Podcasts. If you guys like this episode, give it 5 stars. But if you are here watching, especially if you came from audio, welcome. Okay, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. And without further ado, you guys probably have like another hour of footage to enjoy watching the pageant vlog. So thanks for watching. Welcome back to my channel. Today is June 22nd. It is 3:03 p.m. and I'm getting ready to head to the sanctuary, a local church here, and I'm gonna go practice, like do a full dress rehearsal run through for my pageant, which is on. Let me break it down for you guys. You guys are probably already following me on Instagram at Miss Wash Co is my pageant page and Brelynn.hunt for my regular Instagram. I've updated you guys completely on the entire Miss Maryland process because it is very different this year. So I won the title of Miss Washington County in February of 2020, and then the pandemic happened in March. In, I think, June. We normally have our pageant the last week in June every year. They pushed it back until August because of the pandemic, and then Miss America did a nationwide halt on state competitions, and each one was postponed until the next year. So I've had the title of Miss Washington County for about 1.5 years now, and I'll have it for a total of 2 years. And yeah, I'll be competing for Miss Maryland June 26th at the Maryland Theater. I've been waiting for this literally for what feels like years. At the same time, it feels like it came around really fast because, I've been studying for the MCAT. We've been in lockdown, and then I moved, and then the pandemic, and finishing my master's. Like, so much has gone on in the past 1.5 years, but I am prepared and ready for Miss Maryland this year. Something just got stuck in my eye, and maybe it was a sign because I'm low-key running late. I'll explain everything after I get back from my dress rehearsal. Let's go. So I've got a light right here and right here. This is connected to this cord. This is connected to this cord. See here. And then I have my camera set up to the laptop with the ring light. And then this is all plugged up here. And this is what the stage looks like. So you guys, I have been rushing all day. Time is of the essence. I'm about to go get my nails done and my toes done. I literally could not do my talent piece full out because my toenails are so long, but I've been procrastinating getting them done until today, and I completely forgot until I put on my pointy shoes and I was like, I need to get my toes done and also my nails. So this is what they look like. Definitely want them cut down. I'm gonna get my pink and white ombre, my fave, and yeah, so this where we at. It's like 5 p.m. So I'll show you guys what my nails look like afterwards. Guys, so it is the next day. I'm super excited because today is interview day. Let me go ahead and explain everything that's going on because I haven't been doing a good job of vlogging. Not really used to it, and I've also been super busy. So again, if you guys have been following me on my social media, I explained everything on there, but half of the Miss Maryland competition is going to be virtual. So today, which is June 23rd, all of our interviews are virtual. So I'm going to show you guys my whole setup. I've been doing mock interviews with it. I'm going to use my camera, set it up to Zoom, and I'm going to see all of the different judges in their own separate little boxes on Zoom, and I'm going to do my 10-minute private interview here at home. Tomorrow, June 24th, it's going to be a live preliminary competition on Zoom. So this is going to be a closed Zoom. Only the board of directors for the Miss Maryland organization and the judges are going to be on, and each girl is basically going to have their own pageant setup in the location of their choice, and we're going to do on-stage question and answer, our social impact initiative pitch, our talent, and our evening gown, all in this space, again, on our own. And everybody does preliminaries on the same day. There's like a morning group and an afternoon group. I am the first person in the afternoon group. So after everybody goes, we're going to get back onto a Zoom call, and they're going to give the preliminary awards, so best talent and best evening gown for both groups. And then they're going to announce the top 10 candidates. These top 10 candidates are going to go to the Maryland Theater in Hagerstown, aka Washington County, and they will compete for the job of Miss Maryland in person at the Maryland Theater. So we have to take a moment, we have to take a moment. If you guys watched my pageant vlogs last year, you know that it was my goal to make top 10. It was my first time in the Miss Maryland organization, and I just wanted to get my feet wet, and I was not able to make top 10, and that was like the worst thing ever. It was such a sad moment because all my friends and family came on the finals night and they were not able to see me to perform. I only performed during preliminary competitions, and this time, if I were not to make top 10, I wouldn't even be able to hit the stage this year. So all the money, all the practicing and everything will literally never see the light of day. But I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Not only will we be making top 10, but we will be winning this year. Okay, I know it's pretty crazy to go from a non-finalist to a winner, but I believe if anybody can do it, I can do it. And I've been putting in the work. Literally since the moment Miss Maryland ended last year, I've been preparing for Miss Maryland. It didn't happen, well, 2 years ago. It didn't happen last year. So I've just had more time to focus in, and I feel like I'm an even better candidate and an even better option for Miss Maryland 2021. So I'm excited. Yesterday you guys saw me go to a local church here, and that's where I'm going to be hosting my own live preliminary competition. You guys can see it's a sanctuary, so it's really nice, and I was just like trying to practice. Ended up having to kind of rush out and leave because I needed to get my nails and my toes done. Did I show you guys? These are what my nails look like. My faves. Ooh, so pretty. I ended up just doing my eyebrows just now. I'm probably gonna clean them up a little bit more once I fill them in, but I was like, I'm not getting them done this time because last time I got them done, just never like it when people do my eyebrows. I feel like they always make them way too skinny and uneven. So I'm gonna do them myself. And you guys can see I'm sitting here in my vanity. So I'm about to do my makeup. Today is interview day. I got off topic. I was gonna say that yesterday I had to leave early to go get my nails and my toes done. It was so hard to dance on point because my toenails were so long. So I went and I got those cut down and I got my nails done. So I'll probably put my point shoes on after my interview and rehearse a little bit more later on tonight. But right now, and now here we are, it is the next day. I actually did go to work this morning. I did a half day. You guys, if you don't know, I'm a medical assistant at a GYN medical practice. So I do scribing, I'm a medical assistant, I'm a non-sterile surgical tech, I do all of the things, and I was really doing medical assistant work today, or was assisting as a medical assistant today. So I went to work and I left at lunch, ate a salad, and now I'm actually watching Legally Blonde while I was like fixing up my hair and washing my face and brushing my teeth and stuff. I was listening to my Beyonce playlist. Okay, I'm getting in the zone, honey. I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready to kill this interview. I'm super excited. But anyway, I'm watching Legally Blonde, the musical. You guys know, my absolute favorite. This just gets me so like like it just energizes me because I love the character Elle Woods. Like it just inspires me and it makes me really feel like a boss babe and that I can be beauty and brains. Like it's everything to me, and I specifically love the musical. Fun fact, I performed this musical, like I was in it when we did it in high school, and I didn't realize it was the same musical. Like I never saw the live one until a few years later, and I love it just as much, and I know all of the words because I was like, you know, in rehearsals for months. So anyway, I'm gonna watch this and do my makeup, and I'll be back later on to show you guys my interview phase. Okay, y'all, makeup is done. Period. Okay, so this is the room that I'm going to be doing my interview in. This is the office here in the house. I go ahead and put the chair on the opposite side. I'm going to set up my ring light on this side of the room, and this is basically what it's going to look like, but it's going to be close up. So it looks like this. I'm going to light that candle, and it's really, really cute. So like I said, this is where I've been practicing having it at. It's about 4 o'clock now. I don't have to log on until 6 o'clock, but I'm gonna get everything. Well, actually, I'm gonna change. Then I'm gonna take an Instagram picture, and then I'm going to set everything up, and then I'm gonna, like, you know, do some last minute studying. I'm not gonna overstudy, but just make sure that like I remember some important names, facts, stuff like that. I forgot to talk about my dress. This is the dress that I will be wearing. I got it from Shein. I actually wore the same dress in yellow for my graduation photo shoot. It also has some earrings that match perfectly that are also from Shein. So I will link them both down below. And yeah, I'll show you guys my final outfit in a few seconds. Here is a better look of my interview dress. I just took off my heels, but then I just realized that I have a microphone on my camera now. I haven't involved the microphone. I hope you guys can hear me, even though it's faced that way. But this is an overview of my dress. Again, this is from Shein. I'm in a size small, but I also have this in an extra small. It's just a little bit harder to zip it up, but both of them fit just about the same. And here are my earrings. Here we go. So here are my earrings, which you can see matches perfectly. We can turn this off now. Matches perfectly with the dress. And this is my makeup, and this is the whole look. So this is the interview look. Of course, I put on my heels for the picture, but honey, I'm clearly not going to do my interview in the shoes. I'm actually going to take this dress off while I wait because I've worn this dress like maybe 5 times now doing mock exams, and there were so many bugs outside, you guys. Like I was getting bitten up, and it was just like, I don't know what was going on out there. So I feel a little bit icky, and I don't want to just like sit in this dress for another hour and a half. So I'm gonna put on my robe and go downstairs, set everything up, and like I said, get to kind of like studying and reviewing my little Google Doc that I have. So I have fully set everything up. I was like, what's going on? This thing's telling me that I'm muted. But you can see that this is my camera set up right here with my ring light. I have a cord going in so that it's always charged. And I have another cord going in that is hooked up to my laptop. I also have my laptop charged. And so I have this amazing quality, even though this is a Zoom call. So I'm doing like a Zoom call with myself right now. And yeah, that's basically what my setup looks like. Over there, you can see my iPad. I'm going to record myself for my interview, because I'm gonna try and record my Zoom, but I think it lets you know when somebody's recording your Zoom. So I can just do it on my own over there, even though this quality, so you guys can see it, but I may include some clips. I probably will. But yeah, everything looks great. I mean, the lighting, like I said, I've been practicing with this for a while. I think this needs to be a little bit more that way. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'll show you guys also my paperwork. By the way, obviously I'm using my computer, my laptop, so I'm vlogging on my phone. But this is, you guys, my resume. I'm so excited about it. It's very Elle Woods-esque, but it's very Brelynn Hunt. So I made this resume specifically for, obviously, Miss Maryland, and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna read over this as well as my social impact initiative statement / essay, just so that I can be familiar again with what I wrote. So that way if they ask me any questions about it, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I remember what you guys are talking about. So that, and like I said, just making sure I know everything that's going on in the news and some names of like governors and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do for the next about an hour. I'm doing great on time. Okay, bye. Hey guys, it is 5:55. I am logged into the Zoom, waiting for me to let me on. Everything is my bottles in the screen. Everything is ready to go. I even lit my little candle back there. I've got my stuff here. I'm ready to go. I even went ahead and edited my pictures because I had a lot of time and I was like, I think we're ready.
We got you now. Judges, this is candidate number 1 of the Delta Group, Miss Washington County, Brelynn Hunt.
Hi.
Hi. Good evening, Brelynn.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
With everything going on in your life, how will you be able to handle the responsibility of Miss Maryland?
Yes, so I have been a busybody my entire life, as my mom says, and I'm probably one of the most organized people that you have ever met. I have my calendar, Google Calendar, Notion, I write everything down, and I think that I have mastered my time management. And so I know that I will be able to not only fit in Miss Maryland obligations, but prioritize it, because it is something that is extremely important to me.
There's a lot of discussion going on, and President Biden, I believe, is in favor of it, forgiving student debt. How do you feel about that?
I am all for it. So if you guys can see on my paperwork, I have a lot of education. I received my bachelor's of science in biology from one of the #1 HBCUs, Spelman College, and so I'm in a lot of debt. On top of that, I got my master's in physiology, and so that's one of the main reasons why I'm here competing, is for the scholarship money that I can earn. And if that could all just be wiped out by my student debt, if it could just be wiped out, it would, not only would it mean so much to me, but it also will help the generations that come after me, because I'll be able to build generational wealth and also really be able to contribute to my community.
What were the advantages of attending a single gender college?
Yes, so I think the best part about Spelman College is that it's not just an institution for women, but also Black women. And what I found for me is that it allowed me to discover who I am beyond just my gender and my race. I realized there my love for content creation, and that I'm a person who can speak to absolutely everybody, no matter if you're white, Black, blue, purple, or orange. I love to speak. And I think that I was always known for being the pretty smart Black girl, especially in high school, but once I got to a place where everybody was that, I had to find a new identity and decide who I really was. And I think that my college really gave me that experience, and I'm so grateful for it.
Brelynn, let's suppose you receive a $1,000 gift certificate to either Ulta or Sephora. What are you going to buy? What are you going to spend it on?
Lately, I have been really into perfume. I just think that, I mean, I have a lot of makeup. You guys can see on my paperwork. I think that I don't need to buy any more makeup. My vanity is going to explode, but I don't have enough perfumes yet in my collection. And I think that it really speaks to a woman's femininity, which I think is a great way that I describe myself. And I love when you enter a room and somebody knows that you're there, and when you leave a room, they remember you. So I would definitely buy some more perfumes for my collection. Okay, moments after my interview, and okay, let's see how I feel. Okay, it definitely went good. It was a good interview. I feel like I hate it when this happens. Like, whenever I do mock interviews, I feel like people will ask me a lot of questions about like myself and my platform, and I can really talk about it. But they ask me, like, but whenever you do real interviews, they're either really political heavy based or just kind of like, why are you asking these questions? Like, I don't care about this. Like, they asked me about abortion. They asked me about the voter suppression. They asked me about leadership, my favorite person in politics right now. I was like, where do y'all see any of that on this paperwork right here? Like, I want to talk about beauty and brains. I want to talk about mentorship in schools and things like that. But they did ask me about college debt. So I was able to bring in, like, I had to do a lot of like looping in my own thing. And I did end up doing my closing statement. So if you guys don't know, the Miss America interview, it's a press style interview. So there are 5 judges, and because it's Zoom, each judge went one at a time. In person, they would kind of like talk over each other. So it was really calming and they're ordered and they go in order, and their names on Zoom said like judge 1 so-and-so, judge 2 so-and-so. So it was easy for me to be like, this person can ask me a question next. And like I said, there's 5 judges. It's 10 minutes. Well, it's 9 minutes and 30 seconds of Q&A. And then you have 30 seconds where you can either finish the last question that you just were asked, or you can give your closing statement. I'll show you guys my closing statement right now because I've been practicing all day and I got it just about perfect. I could have been a little bit faster because I was cut off just a little bit at the end, but I think I got what I need to get done out. So I say, I would like to express how I embody the 4 points of the Miss America crown thus far in my career. Style has always been an integral part of my personality, but I struggle to see how it could coexist with my scholastic efforts because I was different, disadvantaged, and I didn't see anyone like me in these spaces before me. That's why mentorship, like that of my B² workshop, is so important. It wasn't until I received mentorship as a young adult that I was able to open my eyes to my potential, and I was able to build my successful brand, Beauty and Brains. I want to give that same experience to the girls throughout the state of Maryland through service. And that's always the part that I mess up on. And that was the part that I end up saying through service as your next Miss Maryland. So I asked for the job of Miss Maryland, but it was supposed to be through service, impacting and inspiring their lives for the better. For these reasons, I asked you for the job of Miss Maryland, but I didn't get to say that, but I think they got the gist. Okay. I think they got the gist. Overall, I did record it. They recorded it too. I was recording it over here. I think my iPad ran out of storage. We had to start off at 6 p.m. and then like everybody went through. She didn't have to, I feel like my setup was definitely great because she didn't tell me to change anything. I didn't have to change like my speaker. I didn't have to change like my height, my distance from the camera. Everything was perfect. We knew that. So everything was great. And then we ended up going into like a breakout room, and they gave us more directions there. And then they left, and the current Miss Maryland, Allison, she came in, and it was really nice because she was just giving us like tips and advice and stuff. And she was talking to us, and after she was done, it was like, okay, like it's still like 6:45, like what's going on? I was like, what's taking so long? I thought because I was the first person in the group that it was maybe gonna take me like 5, like I was like I was starting to shake. I was like getting cold kind of sweats. Like I was like, the anticipation was so long. I thought that they were gonna call me right away, and then the girls were like, oh, I think they're gonna call you exactly at 7 p.m. So and they did. They called me exactly at 7. So yeah, overall I feel really good. I think it was a strong interview. I think that I got the point across for my social impact initiative. If not, like I said, I got to do my closing statement, so that was good. I did have one moment where I was able to share kind of like my journey in my master's program, which I think showed a good amount of heart. And she asked me one question that I mean, there weren't a lot of like difficult questions. There was no question that I stuttered on or that I didn't know how to answer. Oh, actually, there were so many stupid questions. Like there was a question about insurance. Like, yeah, they were not for it. I'm not going to lie. They asked me about abortions and insurance in the same question. They asked me like, do I think that insurance should cover abortions? And I was like, yes, I do. I was like, as a GYN medical assistant, I understand that sometimes abortions can be necessary for medical reasons. In that case, it should be covered by insurance. And everybody's kind of just like, I said what I said. I don't know how many questions I got to. My main notes for after doing my mock interview was to slow down, because like I get so excited. Like I go out the gate and I be, and I don't think I did it. I don't think I slowed down. I think I was definitely intense, because I was like ready to go by that point. And my other critique that I normally have is to kind of like shorten my answers so that I can get through more questions. Now, of course, the interview felt really fast. I'm going to rewatch the video and see how many questions I got through. They say that you should try and get through like 12 to 13 questions. I think that I answered some of them kind of short. Actually, I don't think there's anyone that I was like, okay, this is super drawn out. Nobody even asked me wanted to be an OBGYN. Like, where are all the good questions? Like, hopefully they ask me some more. Hopefully they ask me some more that have to do like with my platform tomorrow for the preliminary competition for the onstage question and answer. I think we have 2 questions. I'm not really sure, but overall, I think it was a strong start. So I'm excited. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that's it, y'all. That's the interview. So I am going to go and eat dinner and then chill out for the rest of the day. And I will catch back in with you guys tomorrow. I do have the day off. We're going to get our hair done and we're going to get ready for the live preliminary on Zoom. Ooh, they asked me this one question. I nailed it. They were like, how would you market the Miss Maryland organization? Because you said that you're like a brand marketer or something. And I gave like a brand pitch and it was like so smooth. I was like, yo, sometimes I surprise myself. I was like, how did I even think of that? It was so good. Anyway, yay! I'm gonna watch it back now and see if it actually was any good. Hi you guys, so it is the next day. It is preliminary pageant day. I don't know if you guys can see my hair. It's in a little pineapple. I hope I don't look kind of bald, but I'm on my way to, let me take my sunglasses. I'm on my way to the hair salon right now. I'm gonna go and get my hair done. This is the place where I got my silk press at, so I've been there a few times and I'm going to get, I just made an appointment for a twist and set. I want to get a perm rod set. If not, I may get a flexi rod set. If not, then like a 3-strand twist set. So we will see what she's able to do. I'm mainly just nervous about time a little bit because my appointment is at 11:30. I'm gonna be on time for the appointment, but I know that it's gonna probably take a long time. My goal is to be at the church where I'm going to be doing my own preliminary competition at least by 5 p.m. So I have to get there, get my hair done, come back home, do my makeup, pack everything, and then go to the sanctuary. And I want to do all of this before 5 p.m. And like I said, my appointment starts at 11:30. So I don't know how long my hair is going to take, but I pray she has me out by 3 so I could at least get home by 4 and do my makeup by 5. I think 12 to 3 hours, it could be pushing it. I just hope it doesn't take long because I don't want to rush. Like, I just want to take my time and do everything. And I also want to have enough time once I get to the sanctuary to play around with like the lighting and my lights. Well, I hope it turns out good. You guys, I'm trying not to freak out. I'm supposed to log in to Zoom at 6 o'clock. It is 5:55. I'm just getting back to Waldorf. I don't have my makeup done. I don't have any of my camera equipment. And you guys can't even really see my hair. Oh, there you go. You can see it better here. I don't love it. Like, I really don't love it. And I'm probably just gonna work with it, but I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna wet it tomorrow or something. But like, I'm like, I did all of that. I knew it was going to take a long time to sit under the dryer, but I'm just trying not to like freak myself out. Like, I'm trying not to freak out, and I'm praying that everything just ends up working out high strung right now. So just wanted to update you guys, and I'll let you know how it goes once things are going. Oh my gosh, vlog. Hey guys, you have no idea how bad I'm freaking out right now. So I'm trying to like vlog while I get ready. You guys, it's what time is it now, Mom? 7:37. It is 7:37. I got here at the church probably like 6:45. And after I like set everything, 6:30. Okay, I set everything up, and I logged in at 6:45, and I did a quick run through with the producer, bare face, and then I tried to like do my makeup as quickly as possible before it's my turn. Mind you, I'm number one in each group, and we're supposed to start, like I said, at 7. Exactly at 7. By the time I finished walking, I shouldn't have talked to her for so long. I should have been like, everything look good? Good. Instead of being like, let me run through things, because like, who cares? But I hate putting on lashes. Anyway, exactly at 7, they call me in. It's a little bit of technical difficulties on their side though, because they had all of the judges in the main room. But like I said, I was confused with the way that they do you go to a breakout room, then you go to the main room, then you go to I was like, hey, I'm here. So we figured it out. I did my question and answer, and then my social impact initiative. And my question that he asked me was, of course, I forgot already. What was it, Mom?
About a social influencer.
He was like, as a social influencer, there's a lot of like negativity online. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to do it, despite like all the negativity, or something about negativity and social media and influencing? And I said something about being kind. I feel like my answer was fine. I'm glad that they asked me. Oh my goodness. These lashes are a mess. I hate lashes. I hate them so much. I hate them. My eyes are watering. I hate eyelashes so much. Got dirt all over my face. What is this? So I had to do my foundation first and then do my eyes, which I never do. I accidentally put black all on this eye, and I was like, guess we're doing a smoky eye. Like, this is a hot mess. This is like the utmost ghetto hot mess. If I just would have been here on time and would have been able to do my makeup and stuff, everything would have been fine. A little technical difficulty, a little hiccup, no problem. But the fact that I'm literally like rushing, so I'm in my tutu. Oh no, they call me for the breakout room. Crap. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna do no lashes. Okay, I gotta go, y'all. They're about to do my talent. Okay, y'all. So I just finished doing my talent twice because child know what's going on. I'm so confused. Like, I want you guys to see when I'm on the stage, this is how far the laptop is from me. So I can't see anything. And at first, like I said, I was confused with the way that they were doing the rooms. Because yesterday we were all in a room together. So you would see when somebody was pulled out of a room, and then you would go into the main room and there would be the producer, one of the board members, and then they would put you into the room with the judges. But then when I did it the first time, they did it differently. So when I did it this time, when they moved me to the room, I thought it was time to go. So I told my mom, I'd press the button. She looking at me like, I'm like, I can't talk. Girl, you be talking. I'm like, I cannot talk to you while I'm right here. But no, but do you get what I'm saying? With the first time, there weren't two buttons. The first time, we just went right into the room. This time, there were two buttons. Like, we went into the main room, and then we went to the regular room. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That was because they were trying to say they sent the invite. I never saw the invite.
Oh.
I didn't see it. He was like, yes, we did. I didn't see it. I'm standing right there. I didn't see it. I know how to join a room.
You're not acting like it.
I do.
You're not acting like you know how to join. Well, that's why I thought I thought that you had pressed the button because I'm pretty sure I saw it.
That's why when you said go, I was like, you want me to go? They didn't.
Because when I first got up, when I said the thing is here, that's when that's when the button was there. So it was there, but you know, it times out.
So maybe by the time I got over there, it was gone.
How I get into position and ready, and you couldn't get from there to there. It's hard to find good help, you guys. I feel like I'm sweating out my hair. Anyway, so long story short, I basically did that in the room without the judges, and I went one full time, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess I got a run through because I didn't do it full out one time. I didn't even stretch. I feel like the first time though might have been better than the second.
No, the first time you slipped.
I did, cause I realized I was like, it's not on this foot. I was like, I didn't put, cause y'all, I don't know where my foot undies are. I specifically bought shoes, cause y'all know I take off my point shoes in the middle of the dance. So I bought these tights specifically so that I could be barefoot after I take my point shoes off. But then I bought foot undies so that I still could turn, cause I have turns afterwards. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put on one sock on one foot. And when I did it in front of the not judges, I realized I was like, I put the sock on the wrong, I guess because I turn actually on both feet because I do stuff like this, but then I also do, yeah, I was like, I thought I turned on my left foot. You always put the dance shoe on the left foot. Yeah, I should probably drink some. Anyway, so that was a mess. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a preliminary talent winner because it feels so like flustered, like it just doesn't feel like, yeah, very much so. Like, look at my face. I literally was in the middle. Y'all saw me. We was here. We were together. I was putting on the lash, and I said, no lashes. So I guess let me hurry up now so I can do my evening gown. Was the beauty and brains on it, was it flat when I turned to the back, or was it kind of like?
Part of like the right hand side was
Yeah.
The first time you had it perfect.
Crap.
The second time it was a little.
Dang it. I tried to like. I can only do so much. And it's so far, they probably can't see it anyway. It is what it is. It's over now. That could possibly be my last time ever doing a point dance again in my life.
Or it could be the beginning of you having to do it.
Oh, yeah, very true. Look at the mess over here. It just looks like like what?
This is what your dressing room look like.
I'm usually very, because people be trying to touch your stuff. I'll be like, but these earrings were a last minute decision. All right, let me get my evening gown. Thank you.
Girl, when they call your name, you're gonna be like, I knew the dance worked.
I hope so, because I just don't even know. I'm about to change it here. Nobody's in here. I'm gonna keep my tights on too, since I have open toe. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna finally put on these lashes. Other than that, and I need to powder this little front part. Child, I'll talk to y'all later. I don't know why this one piece is like long right here. That's annoying. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So she's about to call us into the room again. And I'm going to do my evening gown. I'm going to try. I haven't been able to record these because I'm never ready when it's time. But this time I'm going to try. And...
Privilege to announce the winners of the preliminary awards. We have two preliminary awards. We have the Red Carpet Award, which provides for a $100 scholarship. We also have a Talent Award, which provides for a $150 scholarship. So the winner of the preliminary Red Carpet Award in Delta Group is a tie. Woohoo! We have Preet Sond, Miss Montgomery County. And she tied with Antoinette Van, Miss Potomac. Congratulations, ladies. Wonderful. And the winner of the preliminary talent award in the Delta Group is Preet Sond, Miss Montgomery County. Congratulations, ladies, and we'll see you all back on the next Zoom meeting where we announce our top 10.
So I just made it back home. Literally, I had enough time to pack up everything there at the church, come back, set up everything again back here, change into this outfit. I didn't even get to eat my salad. Y'all, it's literally 10 o'clock at night and I have not eaten today. But they're about to announce the top 10. And I would be lying if I did not say that I was nervous out of my mind. Like, I'm so nervous because I'm really sad. Like, I thought that I was, capable of winning a preliminary award. I mean, of course I was capable, but I thought that I had a good chance of winning, and I didn't win. And there was a tie, and I wasn't even one of the people for the tie. So I'm kind of just like, no. So when I came home, I talked to my director on the phone, and she was just telling me about how there are plenty of Miss Marylands who weren't preliminary winners, but Lydia, my sister queen, she actually won both of the preliminaries in the first group this afternoon. So, and then one of the girls, I don't know if you guys heard, I don't know if I'm going to keep it in, but one of the girls won basically both. She won one and she tied for the other, and another girl tied for it. So we have two double preliminary winners and one tire. So, hey. No, I'm in the waiting room. You want to sit over here? Don't show me. Just updating the vlog, letting them know how disappointed I am. But so yeah, I'm vlogging over here too. So I'll also screen record so you guys will see this, and hopefully I'll be back with good news.
Way there. Number 6, Brelynn Hunt.
I can start my cameras over there. Oh my god.
Wonderful. Ryan, Miss Brownsville.
Be professional. Be professional. Be professional.
I'm gonna cry.
Joining our 7 candidates is Lydia Son, Miss Western Maryland.
Oh, she looks so cute.
Number 9. Oh, of course. The parents the executive directors, all the other people that were working the cameras and the mute buttons and everything else, and moving their house, moving furniture, everything that you did. So thank you very much, and we are so looking forward to seeing all of you in Hagerstown.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, I have no words. Y'all saw, okay? I was stressed, I was nervous, I was sad. Like, I came home and I was like having myself a pity party. I was like, they didn't like me. But as you saw, I made top 10. Thank you, Jesus. I'm just, if nothing else, I'm proud of myself because last year I didn't make top 10. So at least we know that I'm improving. And I can't wait because scores start over and I get to see them in person. So all of the little glitches and all the hot mess stuff, it should not happen. But I am a top 10 semifinalist in the 2021 Miss Maryland competition. I feel so good to say. You guys don't understand. Like, I'm working on this for years at this point. Like, I was crowned Miss Washington County in 2020. When I walked off the stage in 2019, I knew I was coming back, so I've been really working since then. It's been about 730 days, and finally, I've seen some improvement because last year, nothing. This year, semifinalist. And I was a little bit nervous. I didn't get a preliminary award, and I was like, no, it's happening again. Like, I just hate that gut feeling when you just work so hard and you feel like, but I made the top 10. I was called as number 6. I don't know what the competition order is going to be. I'm going to find that out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going to work first thing in the morning. I'm going to come back. Then I'm going to drive to Hagerstown, Maryland, aka Washington County, which is about 2 hours away. And then I'm going to check into a hotel. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go to Miss Maryland's Outstanding Teen Competition. Their teen competition is actually in person. They're so lucky, but I have to root on my teen, Celine, Miss Washington County's Outstanding Teen. So I'm going to do that and then go back to my hotel. And then the next day is our finals competition. So I think we are going to stagger ourselves into the theater depending on our competition number, starting at like 9 a.m. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and pack my stuff. That way I'm not rushing like I was today, because today was a hot mess. Figure out what I'm going to do with my hair, because like, I personally don't love it. Like, I kind of like it, but I don't love it. I don't love it for stage. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. But we made top 10, baby. Yes. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, y'all, so curls are just doing what they want to do. It is the next day. I am back from work, just finished packing. It's like 2:45. I was supposed to pack last night because we saw what happened when I didn't prepare. But y'all, I was so tired. I still didn't eat. I had to take off my makeup, and I rolled up a few pieces at the front of this hair. As it's dropping, I'm starting to like it. Ooh, yes, lighting. Okay, anyway, so yes, I have some of my bags packed down here. I have my garment bag and my tote bag downstairs. I'm going to take a picture really quick, like packing my car in a dress, and then I'm going to switch into some comfy clothes and then drive. I do have to pick up one thing for my talent and my mom's job, so I have to stop there. And I also haven't eaten today again either, because I woke up at the last possible second for me to shower and go to work. So I didn't eat, and I came home during lunch. So yeah, a lot of things to do, but just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, say what's up. And yes, you guys, we're heading to Miss Maryland. Okay, you guys, I'm finally en route. You don't even know, you even want to know what time it is. It's 3:45. I don't know if y'all can see this little rod thing. Okay, I got my little sticky thing here, so this thing better not act up. But so for my talent, I basically put on a white coat, and the whole time it's hanging up on a coat rack. I don't know why I can't think right now. So I ended up getting this coat rack from my mom's job. Literally, it stinks, but that's a whole nother story. It got spider webs all on it, and it's all big, hanging up. Anyway, and I wanted to stop by Chick-fil-A. Why is the Chick-fil-A on my way getting remodeled? Honey, I don't got time for that. All the other ones are back that way. So it's 3:45, and like I've been on the road, but I'm actually like on my way to the destination. So my ETA is like 5 8:50, which I wanted to be there about 2 hours earlier so that I could check into my hotel, get dressed and ready for the pageant. And I also wanted to go to like a late lunch or dinner with my pageant director. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I at least have to get my makeup done or do my makeup to get ready for the pageant. So, child, I don't want to stress out no more. Like, I don't want to do any more stressing. So maybe I'll stop by Sonic and get a burger since I'm right here. I want to try and be good, you know, give me a little salad from Chick-fil-A, but honey, they didn't want me to be great. So listen, my dress gonna zipping up regardless, so I'm not gonna stress about it. Okay, I look horrible. So I just made it in. That drive was super long. Like, I think it took me almost 3.5 hours to get here, and it's supposed to take 2, but the traffic on a Friday, it was horrible. But I made it here safely. I have like 20 minutes until the teen pageant starts, so I'm just gonna show you guys the hotel and I'm gonna get ready to go. This hotel is so nice too. I'm loving it. This is the bathroom. Oh baby, we gotta get ourselves together. You don't wanna look at me, you wanna look at, y'all seen hotel rooms before, but something about, you know, sometimes you just wanna show people where you're staying at. Isn't it so nice? So cute, super exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready and I'll be back. I'm so happy. I'm just like in the best mood ever. I'm super excited. Today is a nice day where I can just relish in my accomplishments. Tomorrow we'll focus on tomorrow. I never got so ready so fast in my life. It looks so good. Are y'all ready to see what I look like? Okay, this lighting, wait. The lighting is not doing it justice. Hello? I've been dying to wear this dress for so long. When I first got it, it's from Shein. It would not zip up. It's giving. Wow. Okay, so where are my keys? I'm heading out to the Miss Maryland Outstanding Teen Competition, and I will show you guys some footage when I get there. Hey, you guys, I made it. We're here in downtown Tagertown. I am walking to the theater. I'm hoping where I parked at is okay, dear Lord. But it's after 5, so I think so. Here's a better look at my outfit. And we about to pull up to the theater now. It's like 7:30, but that traffic, man.
And the winner is Miss Urbana.
So it's after the pageant, and look at all of the
God, I didn't know what was happening.
in person. You guys just took a group picture.
Oh, I love that. Oh, the little, is that the microphone you cover it? Oh, okay, very cool. See, I thought it was like a little stuffed something.
No, I know. Everybody always thinks that. Yeah, this is the microphone here.
Right.
Oh my
That's
God.
like only my life
Look at
dream.
these beautiful queens. First of all, this jumpsuit. Man, I love it. I need it. Everybody just looks so beautiful. We're all together for the first time. I dropped my camera while I was packing my car. I don't think it's broken, but it's like low key. It is. Say hello to the vlog. Oh my gosh. Look at her. A whole ham. Get it, girl. Get it, girl.
Brelynn from Beauty.
Oh my gosh, so silly. But yeah, guys, so the teen pageant just ended. Kate won, congratulations. And now hey girl,
hey vlog, what's up?
Welcome back. She was in my first pageant vlog.
Her first pageant vlog.
And now we're back together.
And now we're in top 10. Congrats, by the way.
You
love
too.
you so much.
Love you too. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my picture. I'm back in my room now, warming up my food. I stopped and got some Taco Bell. I'm about to eat on the bed. Oh, this is my favorite. Like, y'all, I don't care what nobody says. Eating food on the bed in a hotel is the best self-care. But I have to roll up my hair and take a shower and stuff. And I have to be at the theater tomorrow at 8 a.m. And I don't want to go to sleep without like taking care of myself tonight. So I'm gonna sit here, watch a YouTube video, and then get ready for tomorrow. The big day. It's gonna be a long day. I know they're gonna confiscate our phones, but I'm gonna bring my vlog camera, which I left in the car, which is why I'm on my phone. But I have to go out there anyway because I also left my phone charger. That's the only thing so far that I've left. Is the microwave still on? I have to go back out to my car. So it's gonna be a little bit of a long night, but I'm gonna try. It's like 11 o'clock now. I'm gonna try and go to sleep in at least 2 hours so I can be up and ready by 8 a.m. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's a big day. I've just been trying all day today to just like live in the moment, because no matter what happens tomorrow, like yesterday was a success, even though it was a hot mess, and I have a tendency to spiral. And I'm proud of myself no matter what, because like I said, last year all I wanted to do was make top 10, and I knew how it felt to not make top 10, and I knew that this year was gonna feel even worse. So I'm just proud of all of us for persevering. And I mean, this was a hard year to compete, to be a title holder, to everything. This was hard, and we did it. I'm so proud of everybody. And I'm proud of myself for making top 10. So I've improved, but I'm just hoping that tomorrow I can pull it through. So I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys, it is about 7:07 a.m. You can see that I'm almost done and getting ready. I'm about to head out in a little bit after I take out my rollers. This is kind of how I slept last night. I just put in a couple of flexi rods here at the top to keep these fresh, and then I did a pineapple with the bottom, and I'm hoping that they last because I'm gonna have them all out for the entire day. I also did a little bit of makeup today. I'm gonna bring a makeup wipe because I think that there is more events than I thought that there was gonna be today. I thought we were just gonna be in rehearsal, but then yesterday I talked to one of the board members and she was talking about us doing a mayor's luncheon, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. So I should probably have makeup on just in case anything happens, pictures or whatever. I just wanna be ready. Of course, this isn't like full glam, but this is a cute look. It's a cute look. So I'm gonna finish getting ready. The hotel does have breakfast. Thank you, Gould. I'm gonna go down and eat breakfast. I need to be at the theater at 8 a.m. It's 7 a.m. now. I think I'm doing okay at time, but let me stop talking to you guys so I'm not late. Okay, you guys, I'm here. That is the Maryland Theater. It is 7:56 a.m. I'm about to load in to the Maryland Theater, and hopefully they don't take my vlog camera, but I know I'm gonna have to give them my phone. So I will see you guys on the other side. So I have made it here. This is my little section. Let me turn on my little lights and be cute. Oh, I love how the pink matches me. We love to see it. So we are socially distanced in our dressing rooms. I love how Lydia is here with me. Hi. She's in the same room. But yeah, this is not the same dressing room that I was in last time, but very, very cute. So these are the vibes. I didn't show you guys. Go ahead. Where do I go upstairs? How do I get upstairs? Take these steps right here. And then go up. Awesome. But this is my rehearsal outfit of the day. My hair turned out great, but the humidity outside low-key made it drop already. So they've already confiscated our phones, and yeah, so I'm just going to put on my mask and head upstairs, and we'll probably I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're here and I'm excited and I'm hot, and I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, so I'm back. So it is, I don't know what time it is, maybe around, hey, we're in the dressing room here now. So it's about maybe 10, 11, I'll say about 11 o'clock. I don't know, they took us off, so I'm not quite sure. But we are changed now. We're about to go to the mayor's luncheon for lunch. We ran through everybody's talents twice. Guess what number I am for competition? Number 2. Hey, peace sign. Okay, so that's basically all that's been going on this morning. We finally got to watch everybody's talent, which is great. And now we're about to go eat. So will I bring my camera? Let me see if I can fit you guys in this thing here. If I can't fit y'all in here, Okay, y'all, so I'm back from lunch. I showed you guys my full outfit, right? Basically look like this. I'm wearing some random pants that I was possibly thinking about wearing for my onstage question and answer. So this was the mayor lunch, and I got to take a picture with her because I was Washington County. And then we took pictures. She gave us a proclamation. For lunch, we had a couple different options, but I ended up having a wrap, which I can basically show you guys the full thing because I'm so nervous that I really couldn't eat. But now we're about to go back to rehearsal, so I'm just gonna take my crown off, and I'll talk to you guys later. I know. Hey you guys, so I forgot to update you all, but we finished rehearsal. We came in here, started doing our makeup, as you can tell, and then we just had lunch. They gave us Chick-fil-A. I saved my cookie for later. And now I'm about to finish my makeup. I don't know what time it is. Probably, what time was it when we were up there? You said 4, 5? It was 5:10. It's 5:10. Okay, so I have to finish my makeup because, yeah, show's about to start soon, so. Okay, let me finish getting ready. You guys, so hair is done. I curled a couple of pieces up at the front here to bring them back to life, and anyway, hair is done, makeup is done. I'm in my first outfit. They're practicing talent now, but first thing we're gonna do is walk out on stage for introductions. So we did pre-record our introductions when we did our interview rehearsals virtually. So there's going to be a video playing. We're going to walk on stage and wave. And this is what I'm going to wear for my onstage question and answer. We're actually not going to be doing our social impact initiative pitch. So that's a little bit of a curveball, but I'm trying to decide if I want to switch outfits because I know I got multiple outfits, but I decided to go with this one because this is the last one they saw me in, and they haven't seen me in person yet, so I wanted to kind of like connect with them that it's the same girl. So I think I showed you guys this dress, but if not, let me show you now so you can see. I hope y'all can hear anything that I was just saying. I hope this little microphone works, but this is basically the dress I got from TJ Maxx. It's Calvin Klein, really cute. It's a hot pink, not the normal pink that we wear, but I think it gives serious. So this is what we're going with, and I'm gonna wear my brown girl nude pumps, and yeah. So I will see you guys later. I'll see you guys when the show is about to start. I don't know what time it is, but see you guys then. Right after our onstage question and answer, we have talent. So this is my little setup here. I want y'all to see the way that I'm holding this microphone. That way you guys can hear me because Lydia's practicing right here. Anyway, this is my section right here. Because of COVID, we're like socially distanced out. So I kind of have like the space of 2 mirrors. So I have my earrings here set up. I have an extra mask. This is Alton, our outgoing Miss Maryland. I have my energy drink, some water. That's my makeup. And then I have my foot undies, my point shoes, and then I have my talent costume there. That's my dance bag that has all of my extra things in there. That's the tote bag that I brought with me. These are my 2 pair of heels, and this is the outfit that I was chilling around in. So that is basically my little setup here. If you were wondering, I can't believe I'm actually ready to go. Like by this time last year, I was scrambling. I feel like I'm talking to a microphone. I hope this is working and that you guys can really hear me. Anyway, I'm rambling now because I'm ready, and I don't even know what time it is, but hopefully I have time to talk to you guys before talent. But like I said, I'm number 2. So as soon as we do onstage question and answer, I have to change. So if I don't have enough time, I'll at least see you guys when I put on my evening gown. And I'll try and buy the show. So I'll put in the clip of me doing everything after I do it. So see you guys soon.
third best one.
This is our picture time, Jen. This is what we're doing. You ready?
She probably went well. My lashes were It's a vlog. So in person, you're ready. Okay, this is Tara. Okay, first. 1, 2, 3.
This is how the vlog, you guys. So this is what happened. Whoop. I'm third. Look, I'm third runner-up. I don't even remember what number I am. I'm third runner-up. Y'all made the top 5. And our Miss Western Maryland, Miss Lydia Sun, my sister queen, won, and she's now our next Miss Maryland. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So this is what's going on. This is what's happening. I don't have my phone or anything. I just had to bring the camera to show you guys that. So excited.
I'm not going to swap back. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Wow. Nice.
I love that behind the scenes.
I was really rooting for you, you know, in Washington County and all. So, I tried my best.
Okay, guys. Got all my things. Kind of, sort of. Gonna go try and see my parents. Thank you. Aw, look at them in pink. Hi, Queen. Look at you. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Hi. Look at these gorgeous people. Hello. Hi. Oh, I'm so tired. I couldn't even make it to Waffle House. I was like, y'all can bring me back something. Like, I was on a high and then it hit me and now I'm like, I gotta go to bed. So I'm going to the hotel now and I'm about to call it a night. I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Hey you guys, so it is the next day. I'm almost home now. Oh my gosh, it's been the longest drive ever. It's like 4 o'clock and I left the hotel around 12. I mean, the traffic was horrible. I had a little energy drink trying to stay awake and I was still like falling asleep, but I'm almost home now. Just wanted to close out the vlog. I don't know if I want to upload this or not just because I don't really want to, not because I didn't enjoy the experience, but if you see this, hey. If not, I'm thinking that, well, either way, I know that I'm definitely going to do a podcast episode. Last year, after the competition, when I was a non-finalist and I took a moment for a couple of days to think about how I felt and if I even wanted to come back and do this again, and I sat down and I talked to you guys about it, you know, through vlog, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really going to enjoy my podcast is because there's times where I just want to sit and talk to you guys about things, but it would be like a 40-minute video and not really a vlog, and I think sometimes I just want to talk things out and not want to have to make it entertaining or things like that. So it's going to be similar to that, but like podcast style, and it won't just be available on YouTube, it'll also be available on my podcast. So that's exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Congratulations again to my sister queen, Lydia Sun, our new Miss Maryland. I'm super excited for her. Like, I'm literally going to go to Miss America and watch and support her. Like, there's no other like, everybody was amazing, but y'all know, like, that was my sister queen. We were crowned together, and so I'm very excited that she won, and if any other person had to win except for me, like, there's a lot of other girls, everybody would have been great, but I'm really excited that it's Lydia. So yeah, I will keep you guys updated, and if you guys want to follow the rest of my year as Miss Washington County, because I'm still going to be doing some things, you can follow me over there at Miss Washco. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I made it just for you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. You can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you're not already watching the pod, don't forget there are accompanying video podcasts on my YouTube channel, Beauty and Brains. So join me over there and subscribe to that channel as well. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Brelynn Hunt, or visit my website, brelynnhunt.com, for weekly podcast updates or to contact me to share your story. Until next time, be sure to live each day to the fullest because you only live once, and give yourself some grace. We are all just a work in progress. Thank you so much for listening to this long one, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.